Warning, this video contains spoilers about the new character V. View at your own risk.
He who desires but act not breeds pestilence. So it is written.
What is up, devs? It is ReZoura hitting you with another Devil May Cry 5 video, and as always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the ReZoura family. So from the things that I've uncovered about V, I am going to say this now, not later. Please click off the damn video now, because I'm not trying to have dislikes because you're going to tell me I've exposed too much about the character, as I have put spoiler in the title and in the beginning of the video. Alright guys, let's go ahead and hop into it. As always, I've warned you. V. A lot has been revealed about this character. The first subliminal hint that they've ever shown us was revealed in Devil May Cry 5's Nero's Devil Trigger theme. Let's go ahead and hop into that. I have no name. This was one of the first Easter eggs that were actually shown. But this was not only just a subliminal message. There was more to uncover about V. Before we go any deeper into this, let's go back to William Blake's poem, Infinite Joy. I have no name, I am but 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happy am, joy is my name. Sweet joy before thee. Pretty joy, sweet joy, but 2 days old. Sweet joy, I call thee. Thou dost smile, I sing thee while. Sweet joy before thee. In seed time learn, in harvest teach, in winter enjoy. Drive your cart and your plough over the bones of the dead. The road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. Prudence is a rich, ugly old maid, courted by incapacity. He who desires but acts not breathes pestilence. The cut worm forgives the plough, dip him in the river who loves water. A fool sees not the same tree that a wise man sees. He whose face gives no light shall never become a star. Eternity is in love with the productions of time. The busy bee has no time for sorrow. The hours of folly are measured by the clock, but of wisdom no clock can measure. All wholesome food is caught without a net or trap. Bring out number, weight, and measure in a year of dearth. No bird soars too high if it soars with his own wings. A dead body revenges not injuries. The most sublime act is to set another before you. If the fool would persist in his folly, he would become wise. Folly is the cloak of conniving. This poem focuses on the gift of life in a newborn baby. Only 2 days old, the baby is asked, presumably by its mother, what name it wants. The baby names itself Joy, for that is all it knows. The mother then happily blesses the baby Joy, with hope that joy will indeed be its lot in life. But let's dig deeper into this poem. That it states, the baby names itself, reflects Blake's desire to the human spirit, but also determines its own state of bliss, rather than to rely upon a form of happiness imposed upon it by social constructs or religious institutions. This baby is the perfect innocent who, when left alone to determine its own nature, find joy rather than guilt or repression within. Repression, the act of subduing someone or something by force. Synonyms for repression: restraint, suppression, control, stifling, bottling up. So this means that V has his own free will to choose whether or not he can be evil, to misinform Dante or Nero. He can choose whatever path that he believes is right. So what this means is that V makes decisions unconsciously, the action or processes of suppressing a thought or desire in oneself so it remains unconscious. Alright devs, now that the creepy portion is over with this, let's go ahead and go over the subliminal message that were missed in Subhuman. Okay, so we are going to zoom in here and look at this message. Now this subliminal message was what I was covering in the beginning of the video, which was from the poem Infinite Joy by William Blake. I am but 2 days old. Now we are going to go ahead and head over to the other Easter egg. Now this one is really not all that important, but it was just a few frames after the William Blake Infinite Joy's I am but 2 days old frame, and it indicates the 2. Now I thought that was very interesting to point out because people didn't really see this message. Now let's go over to the third Easter egg. This one was one of the hardest Easter eggs. Here is just basically zooming in and showing you in a different color, which is inverted, and that there is in fact a third Easter egg that everyone had missed. Now what the devs did for this Easter egg was they flipped the words. Now as I zoom in, you can see the words are flipped upside down and rearranged, making it look like there's nothing there, but in fact there actually is a word there. Now this is a full-on sentence saying familiar with William Blake's works. This is from the Book of Arisen Book 2. There are in fact 3 books. Now if you had not read this for yourself, now I am here to refresh your mind. Book of Arisen Book 2. The attempt to force love through law encouraged the Eternals to put forth the 7 deadly sins. Now Arisen wanted to prevent these 7 deadly sins from coming forth. Now to go more into this topic, in Devil May Cry 4 manga, Virgil with Arkham, before the events of Devil May Cry 3 took place. Now we already know that 7 deadly sins were sealed away in fact in Teminigru. These 7 deadly sins were trapped. So let's go ahead and start off with what we already know about Devil May Cry 3 manga. The chapter begins with Virgil and Arkham arriving to the entrance of one of the seals of Teminigru. Arkham proceeds to explain that demons sealed by Sparta were bound by large rune-covered spikes. To release them, it was required that Virgil give them one thing, their names. Before Arkham had time to finish his explanation, the sealed demon took hold of Virgil's consciousness. Virgil finds himself in a graveyard as a child surrounded by countless demonic skeletons. After losing hold of Yamato and being previously injured, he uses his dynamic strength to break free and to destroy the army of skeletons. As Virgil realizes, he regains control of his body and removes the statue's head, before letting it choose its own name. The demon chooses the name Geomon. That means pride, and the seal is broken, freeing the demon. However, they are unsure about how many more seals there are, considering that there are only 4 seals that were written in text. But, in fact, there are actually 7 seals. 7 seals for 7 deadly sins that need a name. Going back to the book that was lost. The book that was lost was the Book of Iron. This was lost in the Tree of Mystery, and represents how Arisen can create wars but cannot control them. So, now before we get over to the 4th Easter egg, I would love to bring to everyone's attention I found out the meaning of these tattoos. In fact, now these may not actually be the true meaning, but it actually gives us more in depth. Now this is followed by the Book of Arisen from Book 2. Now, it says, tattoos aim to transform the body, inscribing meaning on the blank canvas of flesh. Moby Dick's Conquering is the ultimate fleshy manuscript inscribed by a prophet and a seer of his island, who, by the hieroglyphic marks, had written on his body a complete theory of the heavens and the earth, and a mystical treatise on the art of attaining truth. Now, before I go any further with this, let's go back and think about what Hideaki Itsuno and Matt Walker actually gave to us in terms of knowing about the tattoos of V and Nico. Nico had recruited V, meaning now V has been incorporated into the family. He has been taken in. Now the tattoos are supposed to be a meaning of trust and initiation, meaning that they accept him. So it makes sense why this is taken from the Book of Arisen as well, from William Blake. Now the character that they are referring to, his name is Queequeg. I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, but he is a fictional character in the 1851 novel of Moby Dick. Now, he's the son of South Sea chieftain who left home to explore the world, but what they're talking about is the meaning behind his tattoos. Now let's continue on. It says, but the paradox of this character is that what is written on his body tells us absolutely nothing. This character and in his own proper person was a riddle to unfold, a wondrous work in which volume, but whose mysteries not even himself could read, through his own heart against them, and these mysteries were therefore destined in the end to moulder away with the living parchment whereon they were inscribed, and to be unsolved to the last. Now that was something very interesting, and thinking about everything they've implemented with this character, as I personally feel that it's not going to be this deep with V. I personally think that it's not going to be as deep as I am making it out, but I'm just piecing everything together. Now this next part, this next Easter egg, this is the 4th Easter egg we're going to move on to. Nero. Nero's name is in the middle of the guitarist. This is toward the 4-minute mark of the video in Subhuman. Very hard to find because it's so quick, it's in the light. That's why I had to change the coloring. I'm going to let it play, and you'll see it disappears and appears again. So it's pretty interesting to see this. As for what Nero's name could mean in this case, I am unclear, but we are going to piece together the sentence and see what this is all about. Now, the 5th and final Easter egg took me a very long time to find, because this Easter egg was it was very hard to find because it was so distorted and so like I don't know, it was faded so much to the point where you couldn't see it, and not only they had the red just going all over the place, but as you can see, it says deceiver. Now that is one hell of a word to put in there. To be deceiving. Oh, that's pretty interesting, guys. Like, let me know what you guys think in this case. I would love to hear everything that you guys have you know, what kind of theories you guys have coming up with now. So after this, now we're going to piece together every single thing that we found. Maybe not the Nero part, because I have to figure out how I'm going to put that in, but let's just go ahead and do that. Let's hop over to the next thing. I have no name. You may call me V, but I am but 2 days old. One joy, one desire, one God. Now, it would not make sense for me to put Nero in this, because I think that was an accident. As far as it goes, I believe that was an accident. And then we have Deceiver. Now, the deceiving part is actually pretty interesting. I can definitely see that being in, but I just don't know where that would fit. Considering Matt did Matt told us that everything's not supposed to make sense right now. So it would definitely make sense why it doesn't make sense. So weird and contradicting. But yeah, that's basically what I've concluded so far to why this actually would not fit. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear everything that you guys are saying.